God's heart, and was David pursuing or chasing after it? What does that word after really mean? What I find interesting is that David was not born yet when God called him a man after his own heart. So God wasn't looking at David already fully born and saying, there is a man after my own heart. God called David a man after his own heart before he formed him. So God's declaration predates David's birth. Maybe God is calling you something that you don't even see yet. That's why we need prophets, and that's why we have pastors, and that's why we have people who can see beyond the natural. What God is doing is he's calling things into existence that you don't even see yet. God is causing you to begin to catch up with what he's already spoken over you. God has already given us his word. He's already spoken the promises. It is already done. He sees who you are to become and what you are to do. And now he's waiting on you to catch up to it. David was not born yet when God called him a man after his own heart. God's declaration predates David's birth. So God's declaration predates your birth. What has God already spoken over you? What has God already said he's ordained you to do? What prophecies have you put off and they're sitting on the shelf just waiting for you to catch up to? The verse in question, 1 Samuel 13:14, indicates that God had already chosen David as his replacement for King Saul. Who has God already predestined you to replace? Maybe there's somebody in a position that doesn't need to be there. Maybe there's somebody in a worldly position and God is saying you need to be in that position. I've predestined you to be in that position, but you got to catch up to it. You got to get in my word and understand my character. There's things that I believe that God already wants you to do, and he's waiting on you to get in position. It indicates that God had already chosen David as his replacement for King Saul, even though David was not born yet. Before you were born, God knew you. Before you were born, God predestined you to be in position. Before you were born, God had already spoken where you needed to be. You got to align with what God has already spoke. The context of this passage in 1 Samuel 13:14 is about God's judgment on Saul for his disobedience. There's somebody who's in position, who's disobedient, and God is waiting on you to take their position. There's somebody not obeying God. There's somebody not in their position, and God is waiting on you to step into that position. It says the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and the subsequent promise to raise up a king after his own heart, which would be David. My wife always says that God will sit one down and raise up another. Who is God ready to sit down and raise you up in their place? God is ready to sit some people down. He's ready to move some people out